Hello, Jonathan. This is my presentation for Civic Engagement Day, what was to be Civic Engagement Day, about discount rate. Starting off with the simple question, what is discount rate? To put it complicatedly, discount rate is the interest rate used to determine the present value of future cash flows in a discounted cash flow, DCF, analysis. This helps determine if the future cash flows from a project or investment will be worth more than the capital outlay needed to fund the project or investment in the present. Now that was a mouthful, and I'm sure you didn't all catch quite all of that, but this is just one definition, and in fact is the one that Google spits out at you if you search it up. But this isn't the one we will be talking about today, although they are related. Instead, we will be talking about how discount rate directly applies to you and every decision and action you take. Let's start with an example. For each of these examples, I'm going to give you two options. If you would choose option 1, hold up one finger. If you would choose option 2, hold up 2 fingers. First, would you rather have option 1, $1,000 right now, or option 2, $2.7151, if that were possible, dollars every day for a year and 1 week? Now I'll give you a second to think about that. And alright, show of hands. 1, $1,000 right now. 2, $2.7151 every day for a year and 1 week. Alright, before we talk about that question, let's go ahead on to the next one. Example 2. We have option 1, $1,000 52 weeks from now. Or option 2, $1,010 53 weeks from now. Give you a little bit more time. Go ahead, show your fingers. 1 for $1,000 52 weeks from now. Option 2, $1,010 53 weeks from now. Alright, a variety of answers. Okay, now the final example right here. The simplest one. We have option 1, $1,000 right now. Or option 2, $1,010 a week from now. Okay, again, a variety of answers. Now, let's go ahead and take a walk down memory lane here and do a quick analysis of these examples. Firstly, let's start with this one. Example 3. This is the simplest question, because all we're asking is whether you are willing to wait a week for an extra $10, and we can all reason that out pretty quickly. How much is our time worth to us ends up being the question. Now let's go ahead and look at example 2. Now at first glance, this one might seem a little more tricky to examine, but look close and you'll realize that they are in fact identical, because you either get $1,000 in a year or wait an extra week to get $10 more. Once again, the question is, how much is your time worth to you? And finally, example 1. Now, continuing the trend, this one seems even more complicated than the previous two. But if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and pull out a calculator. Now, for option 2, we have $2.7151 per day for a year and a week. Now, a year is 365 days. A week is 7 days. You add those together, you get 372. Now, what is 372, the amount of days for option 2, times 2.7151? Does anyone have the answer? That's exactly right. This ends up being $1,010 for a year and a week, which is the exact same question we asked before, just worded differently. So again, is a week's worth of waiting worth $10 to you? These hypotheticals don't come out of nowhere, though. They directly show you and me how much each of us values the future. If you were to pick all of the option 1s in those questions, then you would have a higher discount rate because you are discounting the future. You want your money now. And if you pick the second options, then you might have a lower discount rate because you are willing to wait and you are looking out for the future. These situations do not always apply to just money, however, and economists use this discount rate for all sorts of things, which leads me to addiction. Discount rate is a major player in addiction, according to many economists. Those with a higher discount rate are more likely to discount the future and thus get addicted to things. And those with a lower discount rate are less likely to get addicted because they're watching out for themselves in the future. This also applies to education. The higher your discount rate, the more likely you are to not go to college, and vice versa. People with higher discount rates are more likely to choose more dangerous jobs, and they also don't drive as safe as people with lower discount rates. Realistically, discount rate can be applied to just about every situation, but this is a really bare bones explanation of discount rate. And I didn't even mention that discount rate is insanely difficult to measure, or that it varies from person to person and decision to decision. The bottom line is, discount rate can be very convoluted and confusing. But ultimately, it's a very helpful tool for economists to measure something that is near impossible to measure. Thank you.